lot of people, they are into fish farming, and it is a headache to sell your fish. And actually, I'm seeing people struggle to get market or to get people to buy their fish. In fact, you are not exception. I have been in your shoes, and in fact, this video I'll take you through a long journey, and it will start with how to market your fish or how to sell your fish. That's very important, and it's a broader topic. I said a long journey because in this video, when and how to harvest your fish, the best practices in harvesting your fish, how to price or how to determine the price of your fish. Then we shall also look at how to market your fish offline and how to market your fish online, and we shall also look at how to brand your fish in a way that will be looking attractive, and finally how to make money in fish farming, not only owning a pond. So please stay watching as we take you through this journey. In fact, it's going to be a joyous one, and I'm hoping that it's something that you are going to enjoy. First of all, when do you harvest your fish? There's no straightforward answer. When do you harvest your fish? I'm saying it is not a straightforward answer because when do you harvest your fish depends entirely on the amount of fish that, or the quantity of the fish that your location or your locality they are demanding. For instance, if you look at Africa or Ghana here, most buyers, they need table size fish, and table size fish, they are being measured in 800 grams to 1.2 kilograms. So it means that this is the most acceptable stage, but that doesn't mean that you cannot sell your fish outside this time. You can sell your fish lesser than that or above that. It is good you do your market research to know the demand of the fish or those buying your fish in your locality. What size do they want? Now that will determine when to sell your fish. For the age, it doesn't matter a lot. Mostly we sell them in scales or measure them in scales in kilograms. So that's what matters most. So when you notice that the fish, you have raised them to a stage where majority of the customers need, then that's the time to sell your fish. It could be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, but averagely catfish takes 6 months. Tilapia takes a bit longer, but like I said, the demand in your locality will tell. So now, after they have reached the stage in which you should harvest your fish, how then do you harvest your fish? This is very interesting. It is something easy, but it is difficult for beginners like you and I. There are two major ways of harvesting your fish. You can have the partial harvest and complete harvest. If you're talking about partial harvest, at this moment you are not harvesting all the fish. You are just trying to pick some or to select some out and still leave the rest. So mostly what we do is that you will take out the bigger ones and then you sell them and still allow the smaller ones to grow. Especially if you're not sorting frequently, they will never be the same. Now, if you're going to do this, it is good you drain the water, because if the water is great, that's what is important here. If the water is more, it will be difficult to get the fish, especially if you want to select them. Yes, so draining it and leave it at a lower level, it will be easier to use your scooping net or your dragging net. I'll also show you dragging net, and then to harvest them. Select the bigger ones or those that you want to take out and leave the other ones and add water to them. Now, if you are going to do complete harvest, this is not partial. It means that you are not leaving anything in the pond. So this is much easier. You can easily drain the water and then leave small or even nothing at all. After all, you want to clear the fish, then it is easier at that time. You can even harvest them with anything, and it is as easy as that. But take note, there are certain best practices you have to do. Some you need to prepare them before the harvest, and some it is after harvest. So we have pre-harvest and post-harvest. What are you supposed to do? Now, first of all, if you are intending to harvest your fish, please do not feed them, because you are going to take them stress. So don't feed them and then start harvesting them. And don't also feed your fish immediately after harvest, especially if you have done partial harvest. So assuming I'm going to harvest my fish, and it's also best recommended you harvest your fish either early morning or late evening, when the sun is not hot, or when the temperature is down, because if it is hot, you stress them more. So if you're going to harvest your fish, let's say early morning, it means that don't feed the fish that day. Please don't feed them that day. If you have fed them previously in the evening, then in the morning don't feed them. What you do is that you drain your water to the level that you want it to reach, then you harvest. If you're going to harvest them in the evening, then you can feed them in the morning, but don't feed them in the afternoon. Give some break, so that by the time you harvest them, they have digested the feed that they have taken. Because if you feed them and all of a sudden you are going to harvest them, the tendency of them vomiting the feed back there is very high. If you have been following, we are talking about how to harvest your fish, and we have talked about complete harvest and partial harvest. Now we're looking at the best practices, and I'll tell you that one of the best practices is that don't feed the fish immediately and harvest them, or immediately after harvest. No, leave them to be hungry, so that there's no feed in their stomach. If not, they'll vomit it back and it can cause another disaster for you. So that is one of the best practices. The second thing is that clean the things, the item that you're going to harvest them in. Please clean those things. If assuming you are going to harvest them in containers, then the container is dirty. It is food. Look at this. We are harvesting them in this container. So now the container needs to be clean, or the containers need to be clean, because that is food. You are going to consume it. You are going to consume the fish. So make sure that you have the container clean before you harvest your fish inside that, so that it will be good for people to consume, even if you're not consuming it yourself. Another best thing to do is that avoid stressing the fish too much, especially if you're not going to harvest all of them and you are just being in the pond running here and there. You are stressing them. It will be very difficult for them to survive if you have not harvested all of them. And even if you are harvesting all of them, sometimes the one buying is going to take them to some place. So don't stress them too much and make it difficult for them. So avoid that. And then also make sure that you do not, like I said, stress them. Now, if all this is done, then successful, you are harvesting your fish. Now the question then lies, how do you put price in your fish? How do you tag your fish so that those who want to buy, you know, this is the amount that you are pricing, and then you buy? Now let's look at factors affecting price first. First and foremost, size. Size of your fish determines. I said it in the beginning. We usually sell our fish in measurement in kilograms or in grams. So if your fish are weighing 1 kilogram and above, it means that you are going to make more money. Most buyers in Africa or in Ghana, the price, the size of your fish or the weight of your fish determines the price. So if you are able to raise your fish so that they have more weight, then the tendency of making more money is higher. So number one, which is affecting the cost or the price of your fish, is size. We also talk about cost of feeding or cost of production. I specifically mentioned feed because feed is said to take about 70% of the total fish production. Yes, feeding, in fact, there's no doubt that it consumes a lot of money, because the fish eat a lot, and as they are eating, it means that you are buying feed all the time. So the cost of feed is always higher. And for that matter, when we are pricing our fish, we sometimes consider the cost of the feed or the cost of production, how much you have invested into the cost. So after knowing the cost of the production, that also determines, or is also a factor to determine the price of your fish. Now, what you also have to look at is the market demand. In fact, you consider the market demand of your fish, because there are certain times that the demand of fish is higher, because fish farming or fish sometimes is also seasonal. During festival period like New Year, Christmas, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, those periods the demand of fish is higher. So if you are selling your fish at that time, because there's higher demand, you can also have, or you can also sell them at higher price. So that also determines the cost of your fish. What you also look at it is competition and location. You are not the first person to produce fish in your locality. Even if you are the first to produce, but already there's fish in the market, how much are they selling fish at your location? If they are selling it at a cheaper price and you decide to sell your fish at a higher price, the question is, who will leave the cheaper one and come for the costly one? So you have to also strike the balance. We talk about the cost of feeding. As you are factoring in that, also look at how much they are selling fish in your locality or your competitors. That's why it is good to have network. For instance, we have network of farmers. We are in the northern part of Ghana, and we have platforms for farmers in the northern region. Sometimes we adjust our price based on the factors that I've enumerated together in the platform, so we all have the same amount that we are selling. So if you have unique way, it's fine. And I'm using Ghana for instance. If you look at Ghana, the southern sector, their fish price lesser than northern sector, and the major reason is that the cost of production in northern region is higher than the cost of production in the southern sector of Ghana. And why the cost varies? It varies because we have water scarcity in the northern part of Ghana. So a lot goes into water. In fact, sometimes people even buy water from tanker drivers, which is costly, and to change the water every week or every 4 days, in fact, it costs a lot. In the southern sector, most of the times, or most often, they have abundant water, because sometimes some of them they will have rain most at times, so they don't have water scarcity compared to the north. So there's a way we can also minimize the cost, and that is introducing the recycled aquaculture system, that the RAS system. And we have been building it, doing it for people. That is enable you to reuse that same water continuously, and that in fact is saving you a lot of cost. Even the southern sector, they are doing it, but this is one of the reasons why the cost of production in the northern sector is high. And also the feed, most of the time we get the feed from the southern sector, so our transportation, when it gets to our place, the cost increases as compared to the southern sector. These are some of the reasons why it varies. And I like I told you, you consider your competitors and also the location. So these factors are what affecting your pricing. We talk about the weight, we talk about cost of production, we talk about market demand, we talk about competition and location. Now let's look at price model. All these are things you consider to price. Now we have two major price model, and the first one is cost-based models. This is the model that you use, or your price of fish, depending, like I said earlier, the cost of production. So when you determine the cost of production, then you then add something in there for your profit. You are not a philanthropist. We are not a charitable organization. You are out there to make profit. So when you calculate the amount of money that you have invested in, you add something for your profit, obviously. So that's the cost-based model. So this model, you price your fish based on the cost of production and also add something there for your profit. The second model, which is also very common, is the market-based pricing. This one, there are other farmers in your location. So you also price your fish based on how much they are also selling their fish. Like I mentioned earlier, we are selling our fish in kilograms, or let's say in grams. Let's say we measure. So if they are selling fish in your place, assuming 30 Ghana cedis per kilo, and you are selling yours at 50 Ghana cedis per kilo, like I told you, if the customers know of this, they will go for the cheaper ones. So this market-based pricing model is also a model that you use to determine the price. And like I said, we sell our fish based on the pricing or the weight of the fish. So this is, so you harvest your fish, you put them on the scale, and then you are good to go. So now, if all this you have achieved them properly, but what you have to also note is that in order to stay in the competitive environment and you still make profit, you need to take these tips to try to reduce your cost of production. If you have your cost of production very low, no matter amount that you sell your fish, you can make something out of that. So keeping your production lower is one way of making profit. This is a bonus tips. Yes, to help you be successful, I have a comprehensive fish farming course. I just launched the course yesterday. In fact, it took me months to record that course. The course is a complete one. How you can plan your farm, set it up till harvest and marketing. So check the course out in the description, then enroll on it, then you thank me later. Now, lesson number 3 under marketing and selling of fish, which is also very important, is where do you sell your fish? It depends. But these are the 4 ways that I market my fish. And before then, you categorize it. So this one, I'm talking about offline ones. These are the 4 ways that we market the fish. First thing is, you can have a wholesale. Wholesale of your fish is where the customers come to your fish and buy larger quantity, almost all the fish. This one, it is easier to sell your fish. You just sell once, no stress. It is easier to just sell your fish and stock again if you are willing to. But the disadvantage is that most often you don't make more profit or high profit. And the reason is that most of those buying wholesale, they are also up there for business. Often they are retailers, so they buy from you and they also sell to the direct customers. So because of that, they are not willing to pay the exact amount that they are buying fish, or the direct customers are buying the fish. So they also buy from you and go and sell and get something. So they reduce the fish price and buy. So you don't make more profit here, but you don't also stress yourself. So I will recommend this scenario in the sense that if they are buying it in that way and you do your calculation and you know that you will still make profit, then it's good you go for it, because it is stress free. You just drain your water, harvest your fish, boom, once, and you are gone. It's as easy as that. But if you also calculate and notice that you are going to be at loss if you sell to them and you have alternative market, then I advise you skip this and let's move to the next one. That's retailers. So this one, you are a producer and you are selling directly to the customer. So this way you are sure that you are selling it in the exact amount that they are buying fish in your locality. But sometimes it is also difficult to get the buyers to buy the fish all or bulk or together at once. It is difficult at this time. So someone will come and buy probably 1 kilogram. Someone will also come and buy 2 kilograms, 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms. Tomorrow someone is also coming. So the constant drain of the water and refilling of the water is not easy. Yes, but you make more profit, but it's stressful. But assuming you can get someone or the retailers or the customer directly and you buy in bulk, it's good. Like I said, you are going to sell to them as an exact price that you are selling, and that means that you are making profit. So that's another way, but it's stressful. The fourth one is contacting restaurants and hotels. If you have restaurants or chop bars or hotels who use the fish that you are producing, there's no harm in approaching them. Some of them they buy in large quantity. Yes, and even some of them, if you establish trust between you and them, then you can rely on them for continual market. So contact them, see how much they can give you the fish, the quantity that they want, and you can be supplying to them. That is another way. It is also not easy because in fact you will have to meet them and you will constantly receive rejections. I've been rejected several times. I will not mention the names of some of the restaurants and the hotels. Yes, to a point that some of them even visited the farm. It made me feed the fish. They said, oh, the fish are nice, we will come so and so date. Unfortunately they failed, and that is another thing you should be careful of. We'll still come to that, but please make sure that you have confirmed the buying of the customer before harvesting the fish. Make sure that he or she is even in the farm or on the way coming, and you strongly believe that the person is coming for the fish. For instance, like I said, it ever happened to me. They told me that they'll come so and so date. Then that day I drained the water, but I didn't harvest. I just drained the water and left small for the fish to live in, waiting for them to come before I harvest, and they never came. It's about 2 years now. They never came. So assuming I had harvested the fish and they didn't come, what was I going to do with the fish? That's why I'm saying that never harvest your fish until you are strongly believe that your people are coming for the fish. That way you will be safe. This is a tip that I have given you and a note. So the fourth one is local market. This one, you go to the market, they sell the fish there. Often, like Ghana here, mostly they are women. So I would just say go to the market women and contact them. And apart from the restaurants and the hotel, you can also contact the cold stores and provide them with the fish. So another thing about the market women is that they can also come and buy your fish in bulk. You can buy everything at once. But another disadvantage of them also is that usually they buy their fish at a lower cost. And sometimes, especially in the northern part, they don't even want you to mention a scale. Oh, let me put my fish in the scale, then we determine the weight. No, they will come with a basin or a basket, and they will tell you that when this basket is full of fish, this is the amount that we buy. Let's say 1,000 Ghana cedis. And in fact, if you weigh that fish on a scale, you will notice that you are going to make greater loss. I've ever brought them to my farm and I couldn't sell for them. I had to ask them to leave because the price that they were giving me, in fact, they were killing me. So that is the fourth one. So I've given you the four, and then there are other disadvantages. Weigh them and explore all this, you are likely to get someone to buy your fish. Now, lesson number 4 under sales and marketing is branding and selling of your fish online. Online marketing, in fact, is very laudable. You reach larger audience, but the thing is that it's never easy. Like I'm here, I'm helping you to grow your fish, or we are helping each other to grow our fish, but I'm also marketing. Yes. And the online marketing, if you are choosing the platform, make sure that you choose a platform that is appropriate or that fits your locality, your target customers. Choose a platform where they are living. For instance, when it comes to selling my fish online, TikTok and Facebook give me the lead. I get customers from TikTok and Facebook. When I post there, that's where I get customers. But YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and others, I also do marketing there, but I don't get customers who buy my fish. So I rather target these platforms for international audience and for my international products, and also purpose of education like this. But if your case, you just want to sell your fish and you are in Ghana, or your place TikTok is dominating and your target customers or market people are on TikTok, stay in there. If they're on Facebook, stay in there. YouTube might not be helpful for you. Instagram might not be helpful. But if also at your place, Instagram and other social media handles or other social media platforms are where your customers are, then do your marketing there. It's as easy as that. So test to see which one. I've tested. I know which platform is giving me the lead for which product. So if you have been inspired so far and you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. My name is Abdulaziz Issa. This is Faako Aquaponics. I'm also a fish farmer, and I share my experience and I also share my research to help all of us grow our fish. This is the purpose, and at the same time we also need support to grow and to live. So you can help us by getting our resources. I have ebooks, I have fish farming course, complete one, Catfish and Tilapia, check it out. We also have filtration irrigation system course where you can enroll on it. You can learn yourself how to make your own filtration and irrigation system, install in your farm, and you don't be changing your water all the time. Now, what you must also notice that the online marketing, I said earlier, is not easy. It's not easy because it needs consistency. In fact, you can't just post a video one and you think, or you expect it to go viral and you make all your sales. No. Constant creating content. The content can be videos, it can be text, it can be images, depending on the platform, or it could be both. And you need to be consistent till you develop trust. Try to let the customers see your farm. Let them see how you feed them. Let them see how you harvest them. This will establish trust. Not only that, this will also make them understand that they are actually buying the food that they want. Many people are going away from the wild fish because of chemicals. Nowadays, some fishermen use chemicals to harvest fish. And they want to know, if you are claiming that you produce your fish organically or you produce your fish chemical free, they want to see how you do it. So it's showing the videos, the images, the text, the proofs will establish that trust, and they can buy from you. That's why I said earlier that it's never easy. Nonetheless, it's worth it. So there's no harm in going in for that. So to give you tips on that too, like I said earlier, be consistent, be honest, offer delivery services. For instance, if you want smoked fish and I have it, I deliver it to you. Though if it is far, we take charge of the transport. If it is fresh fish, whatever you want, I deliver it to you. And also, if you are doing this, sometimes someone has the money, but he doesn't have time to come for it. Take it to the person. But that's another way of making extra income. But the person will be willing to do. So add home delivery to your services. And be consistent. I keep saying be consistent. Now lesson number 5, which in fact is going to be our last lesson on the marketing and sale, is that how to build a small business from your fish farm. How do you build a small business from your fish farm? How? Now, if you want to do this, turn your pond into a business. I'm saying turn your pond into a business because if you have your farm, you have established your ponds, make sure that you provide the right attention. Make sure that you devote your time to it, and believe me, it's going to pay off. But if you are running your farm or your pond like a side hustle, it's going to be a side hustle. It can never give you full income. So if you want to do it that way, make sure that you have a lot of farms, produce fish at different times, and that way you will be sure that you constantly have fish, and that you can make a lot of money. The second thing, which is my recommended way, is that have business ideas from your fish farm. Fish farm, if I say business ideas, don't just depend solely on the farm just producing the fish. You can go beyond that. That's what I mean by business ideas. For instance, you can decide to add value to the fish. If you can smoke fish, smoking your fish, you can even buy from other farmers and smoke. And this way, one, you are solving the market gap, the market problem. You are going to make money. If you are not having fish or you are not producing fish to sell, and you are also smoking, you also make income from the smoke or the added value venture. So that's why I am saying that adding value to your fish is also another way of making money from the farm, and that's smoking. Or if you want to say, you can also grill, you can also fry, just add value and sell, and that is another way of making money from your farm. Also, provide services if you can. For instance, I'm a consultant. I have installed farms for others. I am installing. If I want to install your farm for you, contact me, wherever you are. If you are in Ghana, wherever, don't let distance be a problem. Even if it's outside the country, I find that we can be able to bear transportation costs. We come and install it for you, give you the right coaching on how to manage the farm, and you are good to go. We also provide general consultant services, and we also have digital product seller. I keep mentioning our course, complete fish farming course for catfish and tilapia. The link is in the description. That's another way of making money. We also made the DIY, that is do it yourself, recirculated aquaculture system. That's the RAS. We have a course that teach you how to make the flotation and aging system yourself. The link is in the description. That's another way of making money. We also have ebook, comprehensive fish farming guide from setup to harvest. It's also in the description. It's an ebook. I also have free template for you to download. That's the checklist, the tools or the essential equipment you should have when you're starting your farm. Check them out. That's another way of making money. So diversification of your income is a way of making money in your fish farming journey, and that way you will not just rely solely on your fish farming. Please, if you have been inspired and you have enjoyed it so far, let me know. So after you have had this, you can make money, or you can turn your fish farm into serious business. Now, what makes you stand out? Anybody at all can do whatever that we are saying, but you need to distinguish yourself from others, and to do that you need to provide quality service. If you are a consultant, let people trust that yes, you are doing it right. If you are selling fish, smoke one, let be high quality. Fresh one, let high be quality, and be consistent. If people want you, they should get you, and be consistent in what you are doing. Consistency will also bring trust. Be honest. Honesty, in fact, will also ensure people trust you, and when they trust you, they will be ready to do business with you, and they will recommend people to do business with you. So make sure that you are trustworthy by being honesty. Be responsive. Responsiveness to customers will also help customers to trust you, and you can make money in the industry. This is where we are going to end today's discussion. If you have been inspired, please subscribe to this channel. If you haven't, please share this video. Let you reach more customers. In fact, the channel, we have uploaded over 170 videos as is now, all educative like this. Check them out.